Hi, I'm Connor.
And I'm Sam. And this is the Tiger Topic. This week's Tiger Topic is what have we done since the last time we've talked with you?
So, as we were talking about just in our introduction video, it's been a long time, a long summer, although a boring summer, since we had our last podcast, which was the Super Bowl podcast.
Feels like so long ago. Yeah.
It has been a long. I mean, hey, football's already started again. There's a whole new season going on.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for those of you who don't know, the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl, so we felt it our duty to update you. But yeah, so Sam, what has gone on in your life ever since that last podcast?
Well, Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
True.
That changed my life. No, it didn't. I'm kidding. COVID, obviously, the obvious one, the elephant in the room, changes everyone's lives, obviously. And as soon as that happened and school started to shut down, I realized just how much this was going to affect not only our community, but to the whole world, really. School was a lot different. We had everything online, and it was different. It was very different. I remember the first couple weeks, I just wanted to get out of the house. Yeah. I was like already tired of it. I couldn't imagine this happening the whole summer. I mean, it was just awful. And so what I would do was I would go to the middle school, the basketball courts, and I played basketball for the first couple months of quarantine, actually. And if any of you guys know me, I don't play basketball, really. But I just wanted to try something new, get outside. So that was the way I coped with it for the first couple weeks of whenever COVID hit. How did you handle it?
Well, it was a pretty long summer for me. I got nothing done at all productively. I tried playing basketball for a little while, like Sam said. Obviously we couldn't hang out or play basketball together because of all the restrictions and stuff. But I dislocated my knee.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually did have to stop playing basketball because let's just say it's a long story of how I dislocated it. But yeah, my kneecap popped out, and pretty much the rest of my summer was just waiting for the school year to start. Again, we didn't get to hang out with friends. I didn't get to go on vacation like I'm so used to. So it's pretty much just a boring summer for me.
Yeah, I feel like everyone at that point was just trying to do new things and get out of the norm, since everything was changing so quickly before we could even process hardly any of it. And I'm sure you guys have stuff too that you did.
Yeah.
And who knows, we'll probably do a segment on that at some point about what you guys did. Maybe you can let us know. It was just a boring
long.
Yeah, and I don't know if I was really necessarily scared at that time, because I just figured since we're such a small town, it was going to be a long time before that hit, like, local. And so I wouldn't say I was really scared, more just kind of confused on what to do.
Yeah. And then it did hit local because, a lot of cases started popping up around here, and it didn't get as bad as it looked like it would at one point, but there was a few cases here that started to pop up.
So we're going to try to be moving on from the bad in these podcasts. We're going to try to bring out the good in the world. And, I guess John Krasinski started some good news. And that's a really good episodes and a good series that if you haven't watched already, definitely do that. Because, he was just trying to stay positive throughout all this. And that's what we're going to be trying to do as well. Talk about how we got through it and how we still continue to try to get through it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the goal. We'll see what we can do.
And again, if you do need something to watch, you could also just watch John Krasinski in The Office. which again,
The Office,
comes
obviously.
off of Netflix at the end of this year, so do not miss out on your chance to watch it.
Which if you haven't watched The Office already, you wasted quarantine. Honestly, I mean,
You've wasted a lot of your life if you haven't watched The Office.
So, after the initial fact that, okay, this is happening, this is going on, we learned that, I mean, at some point, school is going to start back up again, right? And not only had COVID taken place in that, but construction had. And this had been an ongoing project for even before this hit.
Yeah.
And so it was just difficult to tell when we were going to start school exactly.
Where we were going to have school.
Yeah, where we were going to have it, what time it started,
Yeah.
how it was going to be. I mean, at first I thought for sure, okay, there's probably no way we're going to go back. It's going to be mostly online, like how it was whenever we left off at the last school year. And I wasn't really looking forward to that. I mean, I wanted to see people. I mean, I wanted to be safe,
Yeah.
of course, but I wanted to see people, see my friends. And I think it was cool, however, that whenever last school year, whenever they did have all this online stuff, they had the online graduation. I thought that was really neat for
I
the
saw
seniors
the
that
videos
graduated.
they put together and everything, yeah.
The administration put so much work into trying to
absolutely.
make the seniors feel like
Like
get the
they
recognition
mattered.
they deserved,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And there was
so,
the whole lights at the football field that all the schools around here did,
Mhm.
and that was really cool too.
Tons of tributes because, I mean, they obviously didn't want this to happen. No one did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that last school year, that was really cool. And then this school year, they went through a ton of different plans, a ton of different papers. I mean, since my dad's a teacher, I got to see most of those before anyone even heard about them. And I didn't know how they were going to pull it off. But they did. And so here we are. Would you like to talk about how they started to open up and what's going on?
Well, I think the biggest change for us is that we don't have a lunch period.
We got out earlier than that.
We get out earlier through the day. I was gonna bring up how we go to churches now and stuff like that, but the thing is that doesn't affect every single school. That just affects the high school, whereas the elementary school, the middle school, all of us here, we don't have a lunch period because obviously we can't take our masks off and eat at school in a cafeteria with 100 other students, but as I said a minute ago, now we go to school at churches, Elm Street, Cherry Street. I mean, some people are lucky enough to have all their classes at one church, and some people are not as lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what classes you're taking. You can go back and forth. But my first impression going back into it was I wasn't really sure if the kids would follow anything. Like, that's where I got kind of worried about safety.
Yeah, about the freshmen.
As I'm sure most people did. I mean, that's a big change, especially when you've adjusted to stay away from people. But yeah, that was my first impression, was kind of just like, okay, how are they going to do this safely? And surprisingly enough, I mean, I thought it was a good plan.
Yeah.
The plan was, okay, they're going to divide classes into freshman, sophomore, mostly go to Cherry/Elm, and the juniors and seniors go to Emmanuel. But even further than that, they divided those classes into alphabetical order. So like halfway through, the beginning half would go Mondays, Wednesdays, and the last half would go Tuesdays, Thursdays. I thought that was a good idea, because if you weren't comfortable with how things were going the first couple of days, you could say, okay, I don't want to do this. I can go full remote, as some kids have. And Fridays are all remote for everyone, which I thought was good for the teachers to kind of just discuss, talk about. Most kids don't really think about that, but like I said, since my dad's a teacher, I think that's really nice that they have that. And I thought it worked out.
Yeah, and it does work out. And a lot of students, maybe like it better how we have 2 days of school. We're at school for a lot longer the days that we are there. And, I mean, we should mention that there's buses
Yeah,
between the...
it's a good point.
There is buses between the churches every single block. And so, those kids that don't have transportation, because that was a big worry at first between the churches, how are kids going to get to Elm Street? How are kids going to get back to Emmanuel next block, or every block having to switch locations, having to go back to back, which I do. And they got that figured out and got it set in place for us. So.
Yeah, like the upperclassmen, they can just drive, obviously. But the freshman, sophomore, not only do they have to figure out how to get there, but get there on time. And that was a difficult range to figure out, okay, how much time should be allotted for them to get to class.
Yeah.
And for me, since I don't change, it's just like, okay, I have this 10-minute break in between classes where I don't know what to do.
Yeah. But the teachers have been really understanding and nice, and I can't tell you how many times I've been late to Spanish 2. But, Profe understands that we don't have, sometimes I'm going to be late, and that's what it is. And, that can't change. I can't do anything about it, but the teachers have really adapted to that and done really well, accepting that and understanding that.
Yeah, so overall, I think throughout this whole pandemic, the school administration staff, they've done an outstanding job, in my opinion, in trying to keep the students interested, even though whenever we first went remote, a lot of kids kind of just didn't want to do the work, and that was tough.
It was a mess because, now we have, going there 2 days and then being remote 3 days of the week is a lot different than being remote 5 days of the week. You never see your teacher. You never get to ask questions in person. You never have those lecture days that are really important. So it is a huge difference from last year where we just got thrown to the wolves, kind of,
I mean, yeah, it was difficult to learn, but also to stay motivated. I mean, just to try to work on it every day. I mean, sometimes you just didn't feel like it. And in the next episode, we're in season 2 right now. Actually, that's kind of crazy. But the next episode, we're gonna do more of a motivation topic. Try to get people to, deal with everything that's going on. What we're doing to stay motivated. Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way from last episode for sure. I mean, a lot of change.
We're upperclassmen now.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it feels like a big deal to us,
Yeah, for sure. And so that's probably where we're gonna leave on this episode. Just talked about, what we did, how things have changed, and what's going on in our lives. Yeah. And just starting to get the introduction into the school year now. And you probably can tell, but it is very windy right now.
It is very windy.
We're probably going to end it off.
The leaves are excited for next week.
Heck yeah. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.